the driver remains. IROC is a celebration of champions. 12 of the finest from 5 different disciplines race on 4 different tracks. It's the International Race of Champions. And tonight we're at Charlotte Motor Speedway for round 2 of IROC 21. The crowd is ready, the cars are ready. Let's go to Jackaroo.
Paul, take a look at this. The number on the side of this car is 2. That means this driver is ranked 2nd in points. Who does it belong to? Mark Martin, the defending IROC Series champion. Now look who carries number 1. Currently ranked atop the point standings for 1997, Al Unser Jr., hot off his victory at Daytona International Speedway. Now you'd think drivers that carry numbers 1 and number 2, you'd think they'd be starting up front. That's not the case. They're starting 11th and 12th because IROC reverses the field based upon the point standings. So Benny Parsons, even in the best of circumstances, these drivers are going to be hard-pressed to hold on to these numbers after this race.
And, Jack, they have to pass 10 of the best race car drivers in the world. Also, the Pontiac Firebirds are using are very, very close. You know, this is the 6th race that the IROC officials have used the Pontiac Firebirds. They've been to the wind tunnel 3 or 4 times trying to find that fine balance, that aerodynamic balance front to rear of these cars. They've also tested them thousands of miles, and they've got them very, very close. But, folks, you can pass. Pressure that guy in front of you. Let him drift up. He'll stick that nose in and root your way to the front. Or should you lay back? Because remember last year about the 5th or 6th lap, big crash. If you dodge that, you could have a very good starting spot.
Well, the engines are started on the Firebirds. We're ready to go. Here's the way they line up with the reigning kart champion Jimmy Vasser on the pole, Darrell Waltrip on the outside. In row 2, Alex Zanardi from kart and Jeff Gordon to the outside of row 2. Back in row number 3, 2 NASCAR drivers, Dale Jarrett and Terry Labonte, the reigning Winston Cup champion. In the 4th row, from the SCCA Trans Am Series, Tommy Kendall and Randy LaJoie from the Busch Series. In row number 5, Dale Earnhardt and Mark Martin, both from NASCAR. And back in row 6, Al Unser Jr. from kart and Robbie Gordon, who is starting all the way in the back because he missed the drivers' meeting. So they move him to the back of the field. Now, ahead, 67 laps on the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So the front row comes into alignment. Darrell Waltrip, Jimmy Vasser on the front row. The pace car already off. Now keep an eye especially on the Winston Cup guys. This is very definitely their track, and they should move early. Robbie Gordon has dropped well back, but Al Unser Jr. in the red car has dropped back even further as the green comes out. Vasser surges ahead.
Jimmy Vasser on Wednesday practiced the starts. He spent time practicing the start, and it worked out for him. Right now has the lead.
Darrell Waltrip drops into 2nd place. Gordon right behind him.
Meanwhile, the 3 abreast going in the corner. Terry Labonte on the inside.
And Mark Martin now moves high on the outside along Labonte and up behind Jarrett. This is where the test will come as you take a look on board with Al Unser Jr.
As he tries to get by Tommy Kendall going down into turn 1, he will make that pass.
Little Al was worried about the ability to pass here. Doesn't seem to be a problem. See a little tire smoke up ahead. Back into turn 3 again. Little Al still on the move. He's back behind Gordon now. Robbie Gordon drops low.
It's Dale Earnhardt, the orange car, right in front of Al Unser Jr. as they come off turn 4.
Now the question is, will these 2 antagonists, Earnhardt and Unser, link up to try to get to the front of the field and then start their battle? Darrell Waltrip and LaJoie side by side.
And Waltrip is struggling on the outside pole to begin, struggling as he works his way toward the rear.
On board Waltrip, LaJoie just ahead. Down the backstretch.
And Darrell's car's going up the hill, not sticking on the bottom of the racetrack.
Jimmy Vasser with Gordon parked right on his rear bumper. Those 2 cars have now pulled just a little bit away. The rest of the pack struggling in the fight. Back up front once again, Vasser, Gordon.
And Dale Jarrett has broken in 3rd spot. Jimmy Vasser, I talked about practicing starts. He also ran a full 100 miles. Put on new tires, goes out and runs 100 miles to try to find out what these cars are going to do. Not in this car, but in a practice car.
I was impressed with how he accepted the challenge of Charlotte Motor Speedway and came out and got really ready.
And Mark Martin started in the rear, has worked his way up to third place as he goes by Jarrett. That's Terry Labonte, the yellow car. And
Jarrett,
then
Labonte, and LaJoie. You got it.
Well, I'm impressed. Mark Martin has worked his way from the last row up to third place.
Well, you know, you made the point at starting that they have really worked on the aerodynamics and on the tires. Looking out the back of Mark Martin's car.
It's Dale Jarrett, the green Pontiac Firebird.
And Labonte sitting back there in LaJoie. Labonte right behind Jarrett. Again over to the back stretch.
See Robbie Gordon, the rose-colored car, has worked his way in front of Alex Zanardi. And LaJoie goes up, challenges Jarrett off turn 4.
LaJoie got his bumper right up there. Now ducks inside of Jarrett. But no, Jarrett's going to hold it through here. Whoa, side by side. I'm sure they touch there.
And Robbie Gordon comes alongside, goes by Terry Labonte, now tries to close it on Jarrett.
Robbie Gordon tries to stick that nose in behind Labonte. Now he tries to come up and challenge Labonte. He comes past, pulls in behind Jarrett. Again, we're seeing a little bit of smoke off the tires. That's what they have to be a little careful of.
Try to save these tires. Save the tires. Don't ride on that right front tire because sooner or later it will give up on you.
So IROC round number 2 is underway. Jimmy Vasser, the IndyCar driver, took the lead on the start and is pulling away from the rest of the field.
The International Race of Champions on ABC Sports. Brought to you by the legendary Firebird Trans Am from Pontiac. True Value, official hardware store of IROC and garages everywhere. Goodyear, #1 in tires. And Jiffy Lube, America's complete preventative fluid maintenance service provider. Every 3,000 miles.
We're back at Charlotte with the IROC, where the pre-race ceremonies were spectacular before this crowd and under the lights. Humpy Wheeler, who runs the place here, does a remarkable job, including great fireworks. Great battle developing now for 5th at Charlotte Motor Speedway as Jimmy Vasser continues his lead. But back in the pack, Dale Jarrett is having to hang on with everybody beating on his back door.
And Robbie Gordon is literally beating on that back bumper. That's Jarrett in the green car, Robbie Gordon in the rose car. Meanwhile, we saw a battle for second spot go by. There comes Terry Labonte. Alex Zanardi goes by on the outside, trying to go by Labonte on the outside.
And take a look back in the field behind Jarrett there. That blue car is Alex Zanardi. Right behind him is Dale Earnhardt. Zanardi's holding his own against the 7-time Winston Cup champ. Ellinger Jr. sits a bit back from Earnhardt. They've broken off the contact that they had, and now they haven't been able to come as far forward, I think, as they had hoped. Hunter Jr. about 150 feet back from Dale Earnhardt. In line, saving tires going to be a key?
I think it's going to be definitely be a key. There goes Jimmy Vasser. Mark Martin has worked his way in the second spot, passing Jeff Gordon. But this is the battle, and it still rages on as Zanardi tries to keep Earnhardt behind him. And look at Jeff Gordon trying to take over second spot. That's Mark Martin on the outside, the orange car. Gordon, the purple car on the inside. He will take that spot away, and here comes Randy LaJoie.
Yeah, but Martin comes right back. Can't hold down on that low groove. Gordon has to come up behind Martin and ahead of LaJoie.
Ooh, and almost some contact between Gordon. He did not realize Randy LaJoie was on the outside as he came off the second corner.
And look way ahead there, that little dot up in the upper left-hand corner, that's Jimmy Vasser. Vasser has a spectacular run going here, Jack.
Guys, you want to know how serious Jimmy Vasser is about IROC competition, earlier this week, Jimmy flew down to Charlotte, North Carolina, asked the IROC mechanics for a special practice session. What he did is he slapped on 4 new tires and went out and ran 100 consecutive miles. He reasoned that the best way to figure out how to work these cars is to simulate a race.
Now looking at that battle back second through the rest of the field. Everybody still staying fairly close and in contact. Jimmy Vasser. And look at the distance back to second place, Mark Martin.
Alonso Jr. running right now in 11th spot.
Again looking back from Mark Martin.
And it looks like it's
second place, Jeff Gordon, then Robbie Gordon.
That looks like a long ways, but you can see it's not that far, just a few car lengths. And there comes the rest of the field.
Got a glimpse, a moment there, the Trans Am champion, Tommy Kendall, who said if he wins this race, he'll dye his hair the color of his car. He's not in danger of green hair just yet.
Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, Robbie Gordon, Mark Martin, and LaJoie.
Labonte Jarrett. And right now, Zanardi is pushing Jarrett.
And trying to take the spot away. That's Zanardi in the blue car on the inside. Dale Jarrett, the green car.
And then come Earnhardt, the orange car, and Al Unser Jr. So they're back in contact.
And Tommy Kendall, the lime green car.
Looking over from Unser Jr., Earnhardt, the orange car to the outside. Zanardi just ahead. Again, a lot of smoke off the tires.
I think the tires are rubbing the fender works somewhere on these cars. Zanardi and Jarrett. And there goes Earnhardt trying to get by Al Unser Jr.
Oh, that's a little more than a try. Let's move over a little, Al.
But Earnhardt's on the outside. Unser has the preferred line. It's like a dead heat.
Little Al stays in there. Tommy Kendall closes up behind Earnhardt. Of course, his positioning there will make no difference whatsoever. Draft is not the game here. I think you're right, Benny, though. Every time we see the car sit down a little, you get a puff of smoke off of it.
Yeah, I think that the tires are rubbing the fender works just a little bit someplace. Guess who's on the outside of Al Unser Jr.? You're right, folks. Earnhardt. He just will not give up this battle.
Jimmy Vasser continues to pull away while we watch the battle between Al Unser Jr. and Earnhardt. The IROC teams did tell the drivers, be careful with these Goodyear tires. They're good, but maybe not 100 miles good. You don't want to run them totally out. You've got to love them a little bit.
They've reduced the horsepower also on these cars since last year. They've reduced the carburetor size and reduced about 70 horsepower, taking about 70 horsepower out of the engine. So they're able to drive the cars harder through the corner, but that's the key. Drive them hard, but not too hard, because you heat that right front tire up, it will start sliding across the racetrack. You saved that right front tire.
What it did was make the cars more raceable, though.
Exactly. And Earnhardt and Unser are still side by side, and Kendall is just sitting back watching.
And falling back from Kendall and running in last place is old DW, bright silver car. There's the leader, just flew through the frame, followed by Martin. And here comes DW.
That's in tires 12, starting field.
Boy, these two are just not going to let up. What a terrific battle this is. The big surprise has been Jimmy Vasser from the Kart Indy cars. He's still leading at Charlotte. We'll be right back.